welcome along to the Kingdom FM studios. We have a question, answer and advice session with Andrew Watt from Delmor. Hello, how are you doing?
Hello, Matt, how are you?
Yeah, I'm not too bad. So Delmor was established in 1982. Where does the name originate from?
The original owners of Delmor were a husband and wife called Jim and Jennifer Morman, so the Mor comes from out of Morman, and they had a son called Darren and a daughter called Adele, and they put their names in a teacup or a coffee mug, and Adele's name came out, so they called the business Delmor.
Amazing. And what advice would you give people looking to buy a property for the first time?
Oh, well, they need to seek counsel from some experienced people around them, you know. Parents are probably the best place to start, but on a professional capacity, they need to go and probably research the local estate agents, pop in and see them, meet them face to face, go into a branch, build up a rapport with somebody. At Delmor, we'll advise people on buying houses that we're selling, but we'll also help them buy properties through other estate agents as well. So I would pop in and see your local friendly estate agent. You know, they should have a local branch somewhere.
And when viewing a property, what should potential buyers be looking out for?
Well, you've got to then check the location. We're in a world now where there's lots of information available, so you want to check. It depends your age and demographic as well, but some people are interested in schooling. But for me, I would be looking at the home report on the property. I would be comparing it to other properties in the market and previous sale prices, and then just get out there and go and view it and have a look. I often say that the first viewing is for the heart. So do you like it? Do you get a good feeling in your stomach about it? And the second viewing is for the head. You know, can I see any faults? Do I see any problems? Is this a sensible purchase for me?
And what advice would you give someone who's thinking of selling their home?
Get in touch with a good, reputable local estate agent. Pay attention to the sold boards that are up. How long they've been up? Do they have sold on them? You know, pay attention to the big property portals. Who's putting properties on? Are they selling? Are they priced properly? And then go from there. Just let your eyes and your ears and your brain pay attention to what's happening around you.
And what is a home report, and does everyone need one?
If you're selling it, the home report's provided by the seller when they put their property up for sale. So it provides a mortgage valuation, it provides an energy performance certificate, and it provides some information on a property questionnaire about the property and the environment in the local area as well. So if you're selling a house in Scotland, you do require a home report. The only way that you don't is if you're selling a property to a relative, then you don't require one.
And when you carry out an evaluation, how do you decide on the asking price?
Oh, right. Well, that's in consultation with the vendor of the house has a say in where we pitch it, so I give advice on that. But we're going to have a look at, we've got a home report done by an independent chartered surveyor, so we've got an independent opinion on the value, and I'll do a lot of research with regards to what previous houses have sold for, how long they were on the market, and then I will pop out and look at the house, look at the condition of the house, and when we've taken all of that into consideration, then we'll sit down with the owner of the house and say, right, look, this is where we think you should pitch it. But at the end of the day, it's the owner of the property that actually decides what price it goes in the market at.
What tips do you have for someone who's selling a home to help speed up the sale?
Well, presentation's important. It sounds pretty basic, but you've got to make sure that it's clean. Got to make sure that it's decluttered, old-fashioned things. So you've got to make sure that it's free of dog pets, smells, food smells, etc. So that it smells nice. In a way, you give yourself a wee clean up before you go out on a Saturday night. You do the same in your house when you're going to sell it. So the main thing for me would be make sure that it's presented properly, but you've got to counterbalance that by making sure that it's priced properly. Many people go in too low and they can't achieve the high price, the highest price that they want. And you've got other people where they push the price too high and they frighten off people from coming to view. The only way you can get that advice is by getting a good local expert out to see the property. Check who's selling the properties locally to you and then get them out.
You say the smell of fresh coffee and baked bread can help create a homely feeling for viewers and can influence how they feel about a house. Is this true?
Yes, I've just previously mentioned how it smells. we buy. Human beings are emotive, so if we feel that the house is nice and fresh and clean, then it creates the right impression for somebody to go and buy. So there is truth in it.
Does a new kitchen or bathroom add value to a house?
It can, yes. It might not all. I mean, you can spend. I've got a client recently who's talked to me about he's spent over £100,000 on a kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
He's not going to get £100,000 back if he goes and sells that particular property. But if you pay attention to what you're spending, you should get most of what you've spent back. You might not get all of it back, but it will help.
It's reported that more and more people are renovating their houses instead of moving at the moment. Do you find that at all?
There are some people that have done home improvement not moved because there's a lack of housing coming forward to the market, so they just decide to stay put. But unless you're in the building trade, my general rule of thumb is you're better to move on and invest in a bigger house than you are to over-expand the house that you're in. Sometimes people reduce their garden or their garage, and whilst they're adding some floor space, they might actually be detracting in other ways when they've done the extension.
You have Delmor branched throughout Fife. How important is that to you as a business, but also for your customers?
Well, I mean, being local and having local experts, people that live in the community. Before I came here, I popped into the local fish and chip shop for a poke of chips in Kirkcaldy, and the chap that owns the chip shop said to me, "How are you getting on? What are you selling?" So there's other people in that fish and chip shop listening to me, and I'm talking about what's coming to market, what's selling, what's not. That just wouldn't happen if it wasn't a local person. So we are a community estate agent, and I think it does have a big help to the people that we're selling for.
You see and hear adverts all the time now for online agents. What advantages do high street agents have over them?
Oh God, how long do we have? How long do we have? Well, you've got real genuine local expertise. Normally with a local high street agent as well, as opposed to the online, there's a local database as well. So you've got people that you could phone up and speak to about the property. So, and if there's a problem with the sale at any stage, people like to see the whites of the eyes of the people that they're dealing with. So we're able to handle, any problems that occur there and then. You've got somebody to walk in and see. But in general terms, your local agent will have a database where they're generating more interest, and that will mean you either sell quicker or indeed sell for more money.
And what advice would you give to someone looking to rent just now?
I think it's a good viable option if you can't come up with a deposit. I'm a believer in investing and buying in property and getting a return, but you've got to realise that that's not viable for everybody. So if you're looking to rent, do your research, check about the location you're going to go into, do comparisons for other properties that are there.
What advice would you give to landlords looking for tenants just now?
Contact Delmor. We have got right now we have got a long list of tenants looking for properties and not enough landlords. So if you're thinking of moving, you can give Delmor a call on 01592 201 500.
Is the buy to let market still strong? And do you have any tips for someone looking to get into that market?
Do you mean as a landlord buying property?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean the main thing is you've got to look at what is this going to cost me per month, whether it's being purchased, sometimes there's loans involved, and what is going to be my rental return. You also have to work out whether or not you're doing it for a monthly income, or are you doing it to buy in a location where the values are going to increase and you've got growth in the value, or do you want a mixture of both? So my advice would be dependent on the circumstance of the landlord that I was speaking to. So there wouldn't be a general answer to that. I would sit down with them and individually look and say, right, what's your goal, what's your aim? And then I would talk them through how we would go about achieving that.
So should someone sell or buy first?
Again, there's not a hard and fast rule to that. It goes on individual circumstances. If you're looking for a very rare property, you don't need to sell your own one to find that property, then you're probably better buying your property and then selling the one that you're in. But for the vast majority of people that are moving, they need the proceeds from the sale of the house that they're in to be able to buy the next house. Even if they don't have a mortgage on it, they need to liquidate the value of the house to put that money down in buying the other one. So, and if you're bidding for a house and you don't even have yours on the market, you're going to be bidding against some people who've already sold. So you've got difficulty in getting people to accept your offer because you don't even have your house on the market. So a general rule of thumb is if you need the money out of your current property to buy another one, put your own one up for sale first. Now I get people saying to me, I'm not putting mine up for sale because I haven't seen anything that I like. That's a self-fulfilling problem. If everybody said that to me, put their properties up for sale, everybody would have a bigger choice. So one of my jobs as an estate agent is to encourage people to come forward to the market. But if you go on the market, get an offer for your own, you know exactly what you've got in your pocket before you bid for something else. You're not putting a financial noose around your neck, and the buyer is much more likely to accept your offer if you've already sold your house.
So when you bring a house to the market, what practices do you have in place to find a buyer?
Well, we advertise them on Kingdom FM for a starter, so you'll be glad to hear that. But there's lots of mediums that we're using to try and increase the price of the house and sell it as quickly as possible. The main one is that we've got a large local database, which is we contact people daily that are registered with us looking for property. We obviously advertise on the big property portals, Rightmove, Zoopla, S1 Homes. The properties are displayed in our branches as well. But the main way that we promote a house is through our database and through staff actually phoning up and being proactive in trying to get a viewer for a property. That's the main way.
So there's so many estate agents out there. Why should people use Delmor?
Well, there's lots of not only good, very good estate agents out there. Delmor have... Success breeds success. Our business has been run on the fact that I've been in the industry now for since 1983, so we're 35 years. I'm a fellow of the National Association of Estate Agents. All of my staff that work within the Delmor teams are very, very experienced. You know, Angela, that owns and runs the Cowdenbeath Delmor office, she's been in the industry since 1985. In fact, I'm going to say 1983 as well. Jim and Jennifer Mormon employed Angela when she was 15, 16 years old. Peter and Elspeth Hurd that run the office in Leven and as their own business. Peter worked with me at an old sort of original estate agent called Stuart Wise Ogilvie, 1986, 1987. So you've got lots of experience there. Estate agents got to be trustworthy. But they've got to have systems in place, they've got to have good qualified staff, they've got to have computer technology. So when you combine all of those things, there's got to be a motivation to sell your house and enthusiasm to do it. And I think our business is driven harder. I've got great experienced staff there. Everybody talks about service levels, but I'll be out this Saturday afternoon, I'll be out this Sunday working, and that's it's almost 48. If I'm not on holiday, I'm working, and all of the other teams within Delmor do that as well. So the main thing would be why we're selling more houses. We've got a good reputation where people are coming back to us. That wouldn't exist if we hadn't done a good job for them before. So we've got repeat custom that's coming in. We're in high street locations where people can come and see us. We've got in estate agency. What's happened in real terms is they've cut back in staffing and they're relying on computers to do the work. Now what we've done is we've put computers in, but we've still got large staffing levels, because if you want to make contact with a customer, you need people to phone them, email them, text them, and give them information as and when they want it. So we've got higher staffing levels to maintain contact with the buyers, and that means in the end that we're finding a buyer when they're hot. That's the truth of the matter. They maybe be on our mailing list for 18 months, and we've phoned them 50 times over 18 months, but it's phoning them at the right time and finding them the house at the right time. And you can only a computer doesn't have the brain to send somebody a set of detail sheets and the person ignores. Say it goes by email, they'll get an email saying here's a house for you. They'll look at it and go, that's no for me. The computer doesn't have the intellect to phone the person up and say, we sent you that, you haven't responded to it, can you tell me what you don't like about it? Is there somewhere else that you're looking? And then we get a better idea what they're looking for. So as just customer care, phoning people, we're building rapport. Having more staff phoning people means that we are getting people when they're warmer. We've got a better understanding of what they're after, as leaving them just to fish for their own property. We're being very proactive in what we do.
And finally, if you could sell a home to any celebrity, who would it be?
Oh, to any celebrity. You've got me there. I'll need to think about that.
So, Andrew, thanks for coming into the Kingdom FM studios and giving us some answers and some advice as well.
It's a pleasure to be here.